What's going on, y'all? Trevor Alexander here with session 2 of Investing for Beginners. In this episode, we're going to talk about asset classes, both real assets and financial assets, and the relationship that exists between the two. If you don't understand what it means to pay yourself first, I highly recommend that you go back and look at the previous episode and get a better understanding of that mindset that we're all moving forward with. So let's get straight to it. We're going to be covering some pretty important things here, and it's the foundation before we go into much deeper stuff like investments and stocks and insurances and taxes and all of the things that make up the financial world. I'm hoping to build a foundation so that you understand exactly what you're going into, and not just doing it because you're being told to do it. I want you to understand. So it's August 29th, 2019. Let's get to it. So, what is an investment first and foremost? An investment can look like many things. Typically, it's a commitment of some resources that can be time, money, energy, and you're expecting to get something back in the future. So, if you commit to the gym, if you commit to working out, you're expecting to be healthier. You're expecting to change your physique. If you commit to some type of religious thing or commitment to a church, then hopefully you get a spiritual family. You grow in that manner. You feel better mentally. If you commit to a relationship with another person, you're looking to grow. You're looking for some future benefits. Well, investments don't always go as planned, and many times we look back and say, "Damn, if I knew then what I know now, I would have went about that differently. I would have done this with my investment so that I would have derived a positive future benefit." Well, that's the purpose of these episodes, is that we're discussing money and finances here, and I don't want you to look back and say, "I wish I would have known that," and I made a bad investment. Part of the big reason why I do this is that I was told I committed money for a while, and expecting to receive some future benefits, and I lost out. I made a mistake. I was given bad information, and so I say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I don't ever have a lack of knowledge on something like this. So the purpose of this episode is asset classes. These 5 circles surrounding this middle one are some different asset classes. A few you're probably familiar with. We're going to start with cash. Cash is a currency. Cash is a piece of paper, some change, it's a metal that we use, that when we sell something, we collect it. When it's time to buy something, we go use it. It's a medium. It's just a way that, okay, I want that, you have this, here you go. You want this, I have that, here you go. Whether you're talking about the US dollar, the euro, the peso, it's different names around the world, but it serves the same purpose for the most part. Now we're going to go around to property. That means real estate. That means land. It means the the apartment that you sit in, the business that you're going to go to later. It means your workplace. All of this is real estate, it's property, and it serves a purpose. Um, at its foundation, it's shelter. It's shelter. It provides a place for people to come and do things, accomplish goals. Real estate is all around us. Commodities, these are things of the earth. I'm talking about stuff that was here that we didn't typically create, but we use every single day. Things like oil, gas, gold, silver, coffee, rice, beans, things that we as humans just consume. They were placed here by the higher powers. Equity. These last 2 bubbles are what we're going to really be diving deeper into. And equity, also known as stocks, shares. What type of ownership do you have? What piece of the pie? How do I invest in Walmart or Apple or Amazon or Nike or Foot Locker? If I have my own company, how much equity do I have in it? Am I 50-50 with somebody else? Is it 3 of us and we all are doing 33%? Do I have all the equity in the company myself? When everybody's paid for, do I get all the money that's left over? That type of thing. And last but not least, we're going to talk about bonds. Stocks and bonds, you hear a lot together. But bonds are debt. Bonds are a piece of debt that governments use, that companies use, that your state government, that your local city, county government may use when it's time to build a new road or create a new school or do a lot of public things, well, the government will go into debt. That's why you might hear the U.S. government is $1 trillion in debt. It all comes back down to money and how things flow back and forth between each other. So, real assets versus financial assets. Bear with me for about 5 more minutes. Real assets are used to produce a good or service, and they generate cash flow. So we talked about factories and real estate. If you go into your business right now, your business does something to generate a cash flow. And that business is probably located, it's inside of some type of building, some type of piece of real estate. If you work in a factory setting, something that you're doing is producing a good that people ultimately buy that generates cash flow. For my women out there, let's take the example of hair, of weave, tracks, extensions, that type of thing. If you want to go get your hair done, well, you got to purchase the weave, and that's a good. You might go to your local beauty supply store, spend $300 on some weave. You got a good. That's that. Now, a service is when someone actually does something for you. You need someone to install that weave, to put it up into your hair. So you go take it to your hairstylist. She does that for you. She provides a service. Whether you're buying a good or a service, they both generate some type of cash flow. So understand that real assets, they generate cash flow. Commodities as well. How many of us can go put some gasoline in our car, then go drive to Chipotle? Matter of fact, it's the morning time, so we go get a nice cup of coffee from Starbucks in the morning. That's a commodity of this earth. Coffee beans. Then we go put some gas in our car, and then we go to Chipotle and get some rice and beans, that type of thing. These are all commodities, and we pay for it because they're valuable to us and they generate cash flow. So just understand that these are real assets. Financial assets are typically man-made things. 99% of the time, they're man-made, legal documents, some type of agreement, and what they entail is a claim on the income. So I want to beat into your head that stocks represent ownership. Stocks and shares are the same thing, and that bonds represent a piece of debt. So the hairstylist that you had install your weave, if that's her company, if she does people's hair and she owns her company, well, after she pays the rent to the building that she works in, after she pays her employees and everything else that takes to run her business, whatever money is left over from that cash flow, she has a claim on that income because she owns her company. That's her thing. If you throw parties and you own your event planning company, after it's all said and done, let's say you and your partner are 50-50. So y'all have 50% ownership, but you have 50% of the stocks, your partner has 50% of the stocks. After you pay for the venue, after you pay for the promotion and the talent, and you pay for everything, whatever is left over, all the money that's been generated by the real assets, the real estate, the commodities, everything, you have a claim onto that income. And from a bond perspective, a bond is a piece of debt. Okay, I don't have any ownership inside of these companies, but somebody may say, all right, Trevor, I'm trying to start a t-shirt brand. Well, I need $50,000. I only have $25,000. Can you help me? All right, I got $25,000 for you, but I'm going to need $30,000 in return over the next 18 months. So I don't have any ownership in that actual company, but I am that the business owner, the person that needs the money, is going to say, all right, this financial asset states that my t-shirt business that I'm about to get off the line, as it starts to bring in money, as it starts to bring in cash flow, because people are paying for this good, because you lend me this money in the form of a bond, I'm in debt to you. Over time, under the terms of our agreement, I'm going to pay you back X amount of dollars. And that's what a bond is like. The governments use it. When the government says, okay, it's time to build some new roads off of I-95, they'll issue bonds out to the public. This project's going to cost $15 million. If you invest, then you'll get back 5% over the next year. That's what represents a bond, and a stock represents ownership. Please don't confuse the two. And these are your financial assets. Catch us on the next episode.